Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Jeanette and I kind of got hooked on this fluid acrylic painting. I've always been into art and crafts and things of that nature, but I was binging on a bunch of YouTube videos recently and came across the acrylic pours and flip cups and drag and pulls and swipes and all that stuff, and I'm just so hooked on it all. And this is going to be my first video attempt to make something. I've done a few paintings now, I think about 6 of them, and seem to be getting a little bit better with practice. I do know that with the acrylic paint, one of the best things to add to your paint, seems for me, is the Floetrol. So I'm adding that as a 1-to-1 ratio with my acrylic paint. And then for the silicone that I put into my paint, I know everybody's talking about that treadmill oil, which I have not purchased yet. So I am using the silicone oil, or I am using the WD-40, and that seems to work very well for me. So I'm going to kind of just get into this and play with it and see what happens, and just kind of roll with me here. Might be kind of quiet at times as I'm playing around in the paint. I'm going to start off with, I believe this is a an 11, what was this, 11 by 14 flat canvas. I'm just using the flat one. I do like the stretch canvases. I'm just kind of playing around. You know, these are a little bit cheaper to kind of just practice with. I've got my acrylic white, and this is just your Apple Barn acrylic white from Walmart, mixed 50-50 with Floetrol and a little water to get it to the consistency that I wanted. There is no silicone in my white, and so I'm going to kind of just give my canvas a quick skim coat of this to start with. I've been watching Ann Osborne and Sandra Lett and many others. Those two seem to be my favorite right now. I've binged on their videos over and over again before I actually went out and purchased everything to get going and start on my own. I have noticed that when I first got anxious to start, I didn't have Floetrol, so I heard you could use Mod Podge, and I tried that, and actually that painting came out really well. I've got a lot of compliments on it, but having the right ingredients and supplies when you are trying to accomplish this makes all the difference in the world. So I know the art supplies get kind of costly, and that's why you could set up a PayPal account and, you know, ask if people would want to sponsor your artwork to help buy your paint supplies, your canvases and paint and whatnot. That's always a help, but it's just so much fun. It gives me my Zen time. And I live in Missouri, and today is January 11th. We've had really warm temperatures all the way up until about a day ago. We were in the 50s most days, and now we've fallen into the 30s, and then a snowstorm came in today. So we're expected to get 6 to 10 inches. It's going to snow heavily overnight and into tomorrow, so I'm not really sure what we're all dealing with there. Sure looks pretty outside right now, though. Okay, so I'm going to give this just a nice coat, kind of. Sometimes it helps level your paint just a little bit. So, clean my hands off. And as far as the colors that I am using today, it's kind of some of the leftover paints that I've had from a previous painting that I did. So I believe this one is Key West Apple Barn. This one is a mixture of Look at Me Blue and Cobalt Blue by Multi-Surface. This one is by Simply Acrylic, and it's just called Purple. This one is also Simply Acrylic, and it is called Brilliant Red. This one is Simply Acrylic, and it's just Primary Yellow. This one is by Multi-Service, and it's just pure orange. And I also have a metallic that I'm using here, and it's by Metallics, and this one is Folk Art, and it's Amethyst. And I'm going to do a bit of a swipe today. So I'm going to need some paper to do that with. I'm going to do a swipe and then kind of blow it with my straw somewhat. I like that technique and how it seems to turn out. You could just use paper that you already have on hand, paper that comes inside your canvas, you know, and just kind of rip it in strips. It seems to work really nice. You've got nice soft edges to work with. So I'm gonna get some of that ready. Got my trusty heat gun here that I purchased for $20 at Lowe's. It's a Wagner. I did not go with the torch method. I just decided to use the heat gun for now as I'm learning all about this. So I didn't want to get my paint too hot and torch my paint. So I'm going to kind of just take some of these colors and drip them in a random form and kind of swipe and play with it a bit, I think. So here we go. I'm just using the stick. If you had some pipettes, it would be really nice to be able to suck up the paint and do little droplets here and there. But I do not, so I'm just going to kind of randomly give myself some color. If you've all been subscribed to me, you know that I'm a big subscription unboxing lover. Doing Stitch Fix and Mix and Match Box and things of those nature. I really enjoy the clothing subscriptions. But I decided as I got into the paint, I thought it'd be really fun to kind of share with you how I do this. It's very relaxing. You never really know what you're going to get out of it. There's no real rhyme or reason, but you will see as the painting comes along that you can kind of tweak it into your own. Now all these paints are mixed 50-50 with Floetrol, a little water to get the consistency I like, and a few drops of silicone or a spray of WD-40 in each paint. In the description box, I will list what paints I used in this one and what my mixture was. That was the hardest thing for me starting out, was knowing how much of what to add to my paint, you know. I saw conflicting ideas on that of what people actually mix. Some people said they do 2 to 1. I have found 1 to 1 works very well. And the Floetrol you can just pick up at Lowe's in the paint department. I suggest getting a big one. You'll use a lot of it. It goes a long way though. Some yellow, some orange in here. And as what the Floetrol does, it's a leveling agent for one, but for two, when you're mixing it with the water and the silicone, it brings up cells in the paint. And they are phenomenally cool. As you can see, I'm already starting to get cells. You see how that's breaking away? It's that silicone in there. It's reacting with the paint. And then when I swipe it, we're going to get some really cool cool stuff going on. My dog is in here with me. He's wanting to see what I'm doing. His name is Tex. Right, Tex? What you doing? Oh, buddy? Yeah, didn't want to drip off. Maybe it's trying to tell me I don't want one there. Let's do a little bit of this metallic purple. Let's see what this gives us. This is much thinner. So I'm just kind of randomly putting that down. And I still didn't use very much paint at all out of any of these, just doing the drips. So as you can see, I want to go with a straighter edge to start with. And I'm just going to kind of swipe with my paper from one end to the other, right through the paint. Don't worry if you miss some of it. You can go back over and swipe again. I think I want to take that to the outside edge. Pretty colors going on already. And wipe it off a little bit so that I'm not kind of mudding up my colors going back through. And this one I'm going to actually pull back through here at the bottom, give me some more color. Okay, there we go. I'm going to kind of let this sit for a second and see what we get, because as it sits a little bit, these cells will start popping and you know, separating from the paint and bringing different color up, and we'll kind of see what we've got to work with here. You get all the air bubbles out, you can hit it with your heat gun, which I need to plug in. This gets the air bubbles out of the paint, for starters, but it also can tend to bring those cells up that are in the paint. You can see them starting to pop already. Let's give that a quick over. Kind of let it sit and see what we've got going on here. Just really liking what's happening over here. You can tilt it a bit, have your paints kind of start to move and run a little bit. Kind of a slow process. And just take it nice and slow and see what you get. Bring some back down to the middle here and see what we get. I've done this on a canvas before where I think my white paint was a little thicker, which helps move this paint once you have it on your canvas. My paint's a lot thinner here, so I don't have as much movement going on. So we're going to keep playing with it and see what happens. Getting a lot of pretty color going on here. Just trying to get some movement in my paint, kind of get us a pretty design going on of some sort. This is my first time trying to film one of these too. I went and bought a new little tripod for my iPhone, so I do apologize if I'm in and out of frame quite often. It's all a learning process. Ooh, we got some really neat stuff starting to happen there. I'm gonna turn it around and try to bring it back towards me a little bit. See if we can get this up here to move. See what we can get out of that. You can see the colors underneath some of this white up here wanting to move, but I just don't have enough paint on my canvas. It seems to really get them to start moving like I want. So gonna get myself a little dab of white here to kind of fill in if I got any kind of gaps going on. Wherever you see any kind of blank spots, you can just tap it with your white. So I think now I'm going to, let me see if I can get some of this to move where I want it to go. That's pretty. Kind of liking that. This can tend to give you a bit of a head rush after a while. I don't know if my light is playing with it, giving it a real glare. I'll turn a little bit and see if that helps at all. Well, that's still a glare. I'm not sure what's gonna help that much. Sorry. Just trying to make it easier for you to see. I know there is quite of a glare going on right now. Unfortunately. Bring out those colors that are underneath that paint. I can see quite a few of them. It's gonna help here with the glare. I do apologize, everyone. Like I said, I'm new to trying all this. Trying to run some of that color into each other here. Turn it around here. it's got some pretty color underneath there. Pretty. It's a pretty color there. Gorgeous. Just trying to get the paint to go where I want and give me some really pretty blown out edges. I really, really want an air gun. Airbrush gun. For one, it would make this so much easier, and you wouldn't have a head rush by the time you were all done. I need to give myself kind of like a, I don't know, uniform color here. I'm not sure what I'm wanting to do. I think I might want to put just a little bit more white up in here. Just adding a little bit more white up there in that corner to where when I blow, I think I'm gonna get maybe a lighter blue up in there. It's a little bit better. It sure is pretty. So you can just kind of keep playing with it till you get it to where you want it to be. As this dries, it might actually, you know, really start popping some more cells or colors come out more. It's just something I want over here. I'm not sure what it is. A little bit more white in here. Okay. Feather that out a little bit more. There we go. Like that. It's just your creation, you and the paint. There's no right and wrong. It's all just how you see it. It's about having fun with it. I really like how that blew out there. Wiggling the straw seems to help a little. Seem to have a lot of paint pooled right here. see this yellow coming up real strong here, and I kind of want to balance that out. So I see some more here. I'm going to try and see if I can pick that up. It's a little bit of it. There's some in here. Yeah, I like that. And see if I can just give this a little bit of a softer edge here. And then wherever you might see a little blank canvas anywhere, just kind of tap it with your white. Get that to wherever your paint seems to be a little thicker, you can kind of tap at it and it'll eventually start to level itself somewhat. If anyone has suggestions for me on that, I would definitely appreciate comments down below. I also think that if I maybe added a tidge more silicone, that we'd have a little bit more cells popping. So it's a learning curve and it is fun. So just go with it. Put too much pressure on yourself to get anything too perfect. Sometimes less perfect is actually more beautiful. I'm just going to kind of smooth that out where I see my white kind of puddling a little bit. Got a little bit of blank spot right there. Seems awful quiet for me. Usually I'm jamming to some music on my phone. Really get into the zen of it all, you know. And sometimes working quietly is nice too. All right, I think I'm gonna kind of leave it for now as far as adding anything else or swiping or blowing. I'm gonna hit it with my heat gun again, I think. Get any air bubbles out. I think I need some more paint in here. So I'm gonna drop right there. I know some of this might be hard for you to see, that glare. I do apologize. I'm going to try to bring in the camera a little closer and zoom in. And then I will also, once the project is dry, show you at the end of the video what it looks like. Some really pretty colors going on though, starting to come out, and I think it's going to change even more before it's done. So, take off my gloves and see if I can zoom in for you. I'm gonna stop it for a second. Well, good morning everyone. I said that I would show you what the finished product turned out like. I think it's about 98% dry. There might still be a few small areas. I'm gonna come in close so you can see how this one turned out, this acrylic swipe. We didn't have a ton of cells. They were smaller. But all in all, I think she turned out kind of pretty. I may coat this one in resin. I have not tried that yet. If anybody out there has tips for me, I'd really appreciate it. And I would also appreciate if you would like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and you'll get notification of other videos that I post. I think I'm gonna start videotaping these paintings, be it if they turn out good or bad. It's a learning curve and it is so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, please message me in the comments below, and in the description box I will link what colors I used in this painting. Everybody have a great day. We have a major snowstorm here, as you can see on my grill. Take care, y'all.